So what's your plan B? You've got to have a plan B, because if you don't have a plan B, you run the risk of disaster. And what are we talking about anyway? Are we talking about a plan B for a multinational company? Or are we talking about a plan B just in case your toothbrush breaks mid-clean? Are we talking about getting crag fast on the north face of the Eiger, or are we talking about missing your bus on your way to your Pilates class? I think people who have a plan B will have a totally different personality, worldview and risk aversion to people who, for whatever reason, refuse to fix anchors and pitons and bolts to the cliff face of life to avoid the risk of plunging to a disastrous financial compromise. People who have a plan B, people who don't have a plan B. Do we see them in the street? Could we tell somebody who has a plan B and somebody who doesn't have a plan B? I've never had a plan B. My brother has always had a plan B. We are totally different people. And I think you could tell by looking at us who has a plan B and who doesn't have a plan B. Who is risk averse and who doesn't really give a damn. Is there any right or is there any wrong? Is there heck? Because there never is. People who have a plan B are like the cautious climber in the quilts and boots and crampons and ice axes, taking measured steps up a dangerous cliff face with ropes and anchors and safety nets, whereas people who don't have a plan B are like the free climbers, wiry in the t-shirts and shorts, spread spider-like without ropes across a cliff face thousands of feet above the ground, risking everything, but not just not really caring, but hoping, relying on the capabilities to get them through, and accepting that if those capabilities fail, the results can be quite disastrous. Like I say, I'm unlike my brother. I've never had a plan B in life, and I've crashed and burned many times. I've managed to get up, so it's never been a total disaster, has it? It's never been life-ending as much as life-changing. My brother has gone slow and steady and cautiously. And at the end of his life, because at the end of his life, he's now in his mid-70s, he's comfortable and safe and secure. But he looks at me sometimes and says, yeah, but what a fun life you've had. It's been disastrous. But when I look back from my mid-70s and think, yes, but what a fun life I've had, I can say that in retrospect. I can say that by looking back. But at the times when I did crash and burn, when things in my life just hit the wall and they didn't see any way out of it, it wasn't fun then. It wasn't a laugh then. It was awful. It was curling up in a fetal ball on the floor of my boat, hoping it all went away. So why have a plan B? Why not just wing it through life? There's no right and there's no wrong. There's only me and there's only thee. And I think we will all find our own way down the road to perdition. Secure your life with a continuous network of plan Bs, safety nets all the way down the road. So if anything happens, there is always someone there to catch in the palm of your hand, pick you up and place you back for you to continue on your path, perhaps in a different direction. It means that risks are manageable, but you never really put yourself at risk. You never really put yourself at the ultimate risk, do you? There is always a way out. There is always that, well, it doesn't matter if this goes wrong, at least this can happen. There is never really a risk. Is that good or is that bad? Do we need risk? What does risk produce from us? What does risk produce of our personality? What does risk produce in the outcomes of our decisions? Having a safety net is always a benefit to those for whom risk is an obstacle to success, be it financial success, business success, sporting success, success in the community. It even mitigates the results of a broken heart. Does having a plan B in life encourage you to take slightly higher risks than you would if you didn't? Or does having a plan B in life just reinforce your cautious personality where you wouldn't take risks in the first place? It's a very personal thing. Having a plan B reflects on your personality, doesn't it? Having a plan B shows the rest of the world that you are that cautious person. People with a plan B are probably more likely to get bank loans, business loans. Probably more likely to get cautious partners in life. Whereas people without a plan B are always a bit more of a loner, are always a bit more on the fringe. We'll always get a partner, or we'll usually get a partner who is much like them. Because opposites don't always attract. Oh, pigeons over my head. What about the free climbers without a plan B? Those who are quite happy to take a leap of faith in the darkness, hoping that there's a handhold on the other side. Are they foolish? Are they cavalier? Are they the people we should look up to and say, I would want to be like that. I wish I could be that risk-free, willing to take that leap of faith? It's attractive. Being cavalier is attractive. But being cautious, I think, is a stronger impulse. That's why many people go to the end of their lives saying, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. And the things they wish they had done are usually things that other people, that society thinks are incautious, are risky, aren't the kind of thing you should do in a society. Oh, aren't you a bit silly climbing that mountain without ropes? You're putting other people at risk. You're making people go out there and rescue you if you get into problems, into difficulties. But then again, there are many people in society who respect the risk taker and are quite happy to go out and rescue people. Lifeboatmen, mountain rescue. They're all people who don't just judge the risk takers as foolish and cavalier. They see the risk takers as free thinkers who are pitting themselves against the world. They're pitting themselves against nature. And I think this goes for everything in life. This goes for financial routes. When you put a plan B, I think subconsciously, people who rely on plan Bs will put a plan B into place for almost everything you do. Even if you're not thinking about it, there will always be an escape route. And the people who don't naturally have a plan B in life will just step into that void and say, right, what's next? What's next? What's coming next? Bring it on, I'll take it. And if the worst comes to the worst, well, we'll think about that when it comes. And I have been very much like that, and it's led me into totally mad situations where I've lost houses, lost money, lost relationships. But at the end of the day, I would do it all again. I would do it all again. That is how I would run my life, because that is me and there's nothing I can do about it. And if you are someone who is cautious and puts plan Bs into operation, or has plan Bs in the background ready for if something goes wrong, you're only doing that because it's in your nature. You're doing it because it's in your genes. It's been passed down by your mum and dad, and that's why you're like that. Life is not a binary. All these things cross over, and that's why life is so fabulous, and that's why I can come out here and just find the impulse to talk about these things all the time, because it's fascinating. And I think we should all consider these things, because if we just go through life getting up every morning and going to work and doing this and doing that, we're not really exploring everything about why we're here, what we do when we're here, why we do the things when we're here that we never actually think about, do we? We never think about them, we just do them, and then they're done. Knowing we have a safety net, knowing that we're never really at risk of losing everything in life, does that lower your drive slightly? Does that lower your ambition slightly? Because you think at the back of your mind, without even knowing, it's subliminal, you're thinking, but it's fine. Because if I run into problems, rather than battle through those problems and risk losing everything, I can step sideways. I may not get to the goal, but I will not crash and burn. So, do you risk by having a safety net? Do you actually risk not reaching your goals in life? Because there's always the opportunity to get on that second step of the ladder, to not be in first place, to be the silver medal winner or the bronze medal winner. Still an achievement, still something to be proud of, but not that first place. And then that brings into focus the ambition of somebody. If you're ambitious, if you are so driven, you will only settle for the gold medal place. If you are ambitious but not quite as driven, you will settle for the bronze medal or the silver medal. If you settle for the silver medal or the bronze medal, does that mean you are probably someone with a plan B? And if you settle for the gold medal only, does that mean that you're somebody without a plan B, who has just been driven to go for it at all costs, ignoring all the risks, without a plan B, because it's either the gold medal or nothing? Is that how life works? The more I talk about it, this is what I do. I come out in the morning and just start talking. And you find that when you just start talking, you're discovering more things all the time up here in your noggin that keep coming in and saying, yeah, but what if, yeah, but what if, yeah, but what if, yeah, but what if? It's great. It's a great. Do it. Think. Just think. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to have a plan B to think. In fact, I don't think you could think with a plan B, because you've got to let your mind go wherever it wants to go without considering the risks of discovering something you might not want to find, something that might play on your mind, something that might change your direction in life, something that may affect your mental health and well-being just by sitting and thinking and pondering. And if you have a plan B, you also have 2 or more plans vying for your attention. You cannot concentrate on one thing, because there is always the other thing, the plan B in the background, just saying, I'm here, just consider me. And while you're considering me, you are not using 100% of your concentration, of your efforts on that single plan, on that plan A. If you have a plan B, then the risks aren't so risky, are they? Do you run another risk? Do you run the risk of stalling, of paralysing, not being able to go forward because you've got this decision to make in life, whether you go on with the risky plan A and risk everything, or do you go with plan B all the time? It's a compromise. All the time you've got these considerations. Plan B is there if I need it. Or do you just go through life with plan A and think, well, I've got to carry on with this, because if I don't carry on with this, where do I go then? I'm like in the middle of nowhere. I'm like in this void. I'm in a vacuum with nowhere to go. I have to go right back to the first stage, to the beginning, to like think out another plan A, without a plan B. Are the risk takers always the high achievers? Are the risk takers, are the people without a plan B always the ones who win at Waterloo, who win at Trafalgar, who were the first to stand atop Mount Everest, are the ones we finally found a couple of years ago who never made it to the top but went missing somewhere near the top, and then were discovered years later. Those are the risk takers. The people who went to discover the Northwest Passage, they were the risk takers. Did they have a plan B? Because in a lot of these instances, there is no possibility of a plan B, because circumstances dictate there is only one way, there is only one route, there is only plan A, no plan B. So, who's right and who's wrong? Who's going to be the success and who's going to be the failure? If you success with only a plan A and no plan B, is that success worth more than if you reach your goal with a backup plan? Is it prudent to have a backup plan? Of course it is. Is it cavalier not to have a backup plan, a plan B? Perhaps. Or are you just a free spirit? Someone who the world looks up to? Someone who has stories of daring do passed down through the generations? They're the people who don't have a plan B for the most part. Well, I believe they are anyway. And fundamentally, plan Bs are backup choices, and reaching those is never going to be as fulfilling as reaching a plan a goal without a plan B, a goal without escape routes. I'm a plan A person. It's too late to change now. I think it's too late to put any plan Bs into operation, and I don't think I would if I could. This is how I've always been. I've never considered it. I think a lot of that is because I'm impulsive, and I tend to take actions in life and make decisions in life before I actually have time to consider a plan B. Impulsive. And I think impulsive people are the ones who tend not to have a plan B in life, who tend to just jump into that void and think, right, bring it on, bring on whatever comes next. And it's worked for me. I've had disastrous times in life, and I've told you, I've lost jobs. Well, I've never lost a job. No, I haven't. I've never lost a job. It's always been my decision. But I've made decisions to go into jobs that probably wasn't the best decision. I've lost houses. I've lost relationships. I've lost money. And I would do it exactly the same again if I had the opportunity, because I'm pretty much a plan A impulsive person. So what are you? Are you a plan A or a plan B? And on that note, this plan A person is going to see you on the flip. Peace and love.